Hi everyone, Scott here. My channel is called CineRam, and I've been away from YouTube, at least the recording and posting part of YouTube, for quite some time. I wanted to make one video per month this year, at least. And the last video I made was nearly 4 months ago in February. I keep missing opportunities. Stuff comes up at the last minute. I have sort of set aside time to make a video and then I'm unable to do it. But it just so happens that everyone has gone for the weekend, and so I have a little bit of extra time to sit in front of a camera and talk without being interrupted or without disturbing anyone. This is a video that I've been wanting to make for a while, actually. Well, I should say that it wasn't a video so much as it was just something that I wanted to share in some way. And it is a list of my favorite final lines from motion pictures. I've got basically a Word document. Whenever I think of a really great final line, the last line of a particular movie, I add it to the list. I've been doing it for years, and I spoke with Justin, whom some of you know. He has a channel here on YouTube, and he changed the name recently, but I don't remember what it is. It used to be called Ride 1988, and now it's Justin something. Sorry, Justin, I don't remember exactly, but I'm going to put a link to his channel below so you can check out his channel as well. He's probably having a very great month. And it's June right now, and summer's getting underway, and I want to do a video on movies that I'm looking forward to seeing this summer. The ones that haven't already come out, of course, because I'm a month late. But for right now, let's talk about movies that have really, really great final lines. Now, some of these might constitute spoilers, so I'm going to read you the titles for my top 10 first, and if there's any that you haven't seen and you don't want to know what the final line of that particular movie is, you can skip it. So, in alphabetical order, they are Back to the Future, Batman Begins, Die Hard, Fargo, Fight Club, Men in Black, The Princess Bride, RoboCop, The Thing, and Total Recall. If you haven't seen any of those movies, if you plan to see one of those movies and you don't want to know what the last line is, then you might want to skip this one. But let's get started with my favorite final bit of voiceover narration, when voiceover is the last line of the film. And my favorite one would have to be something I did for Monologues a few years ago, which is Morgan Freeman's closing narration for The Shawshank Redemption. I hope I can make it across the border. I hope I get to see my friend and shake his hand. I hope the Pacific is blue as it has been in my dreams. I hope. Very nice final line right there. My favorite closing credit scene, the post-credit scene that come at the end of Marvel movies, a lot of other stuff, comes from SpiderMan Homecoming, which is funny because I actually didn't see it in the theater. I'd heard that the line or the scene was not so great, and so I skipped it. But I saw it later on home video. I'm like, darn it, it would have been good if I'd seen it in the theater, because it's one of the Captain America PSAs, the educational videos, where he talks directly to high school students about a particular theme, about a particular topic, and the one at the very end of the credits, of course, is about patience. He says, sometimes you wait and wait for something, and the payoff just doesn't seem all that good. It doesn't seem worth the effort. And then he looks off camera and goes, "How many more of these?" I really wish I'd seen it, with a good crowd on opening weekend, because I would have laughed my butt off. And I did. I mean, I find it very funny, but it's a lot more fun to laugh with a crowd. I'd like to mention a couple other movies that both ended basically the same way, with the same line of dialogue. The main character in both cases is a movie director, and in the last scene of the movie, he set up a shot basically to film a scene, and the camera rolls, and the very last thing that happens is the director calls action. Those movies are White Hunter, Black Heart, which was directed by and starred Clint Eastwood, and the other one is Nine, starring Daniel Day-Lewis. In both cases, they're film directors, and the movie ends with them calling action on a take. There's also a third movie that does that, but I don't remember what it is. I saw it, but like within the last 5 years. I'm like, ooh, there's another one, and I can't even remember what that movie is. Sorry. So, On to the top 10. The top 10 of my top 10 favorite out of all the, final lines of different movies that I've seen. Number 10, Total Recall. The adventure is over. Arnold Schwarzenegger is standing with Rachel Ticotin on the cliff on Mars, seeing as how it has an atmosphere and everyone can breathe. Rachel Ticotin goes, "It's so amazing, it's like a dream." And he says, "I just had a terrible thought. What if this is a dream?" Because that's a question that he's been asking throughout the movie. And she says, "Well, then kiss me quick before you wake up." Number 9, Batman Begins. Now, it's funny, a lot of what happens in Batman Begins is revisions on lines. You have a character say a line early in the movie, and then another character repeats it, or maybe amends it slightly later on in the movie. That's a very comic book thing to do, I think, in this case. You have... why do we fall down, Master Bruce, so we can learn to pick ourselves up again? And didn't you get the memo? It's not who I am on the inside, but what I do that defines me. These are lines that are repeated. However, at the end of the movie, when he has a meeting on the rooftop with Gordon, and they talk about what they have next to do in order to make Gotham better, to save Gotham, he gets up on the roof, Batman. He's in his costume, of course. He gets up on the roof. He's about to jump off, and Gordon says, "I never said thank you." And Batman says, "And you'll never have to." Love that movie. Just love it to death. RoboCop. I was talking about this actually with someone on social media today. They were talking about looking at the featurettes for RoboCop because they were going to watch the disc. I said, I wonder if they talk at all about the test screening that they did. Paul Verhoeven, the director, basically was at a test screening for the movie before it was released. And the last scene after RoboCop shoots the last bad guy dead, the CEO of the company that built him turns to him and says, "Nice shooting, son, what's your name?" And in the test screening, people in the audience started yelling, "Murphy, say Murphy!" And then, of course, Peter Weller says, "Murphy," and everyone cheers like there's no tomorrow. And Paul Verhoeven goes, "Wow, that worked a heck of a lot better than I thought it would." It's a great moment, great moment. Love that movie to death. Back to the Future. "Hey, Doc, you better back up. You don't have enough road to get up to 88. Roads," he says. "Where we're going, we don't need roads." And then he puts the car in gear and it shoots up into the sky because of the new flying car technology that's adapted. Back to the Future. Yeah, it's great. Roads, where we're going, we don't need roads. Fight Club. I definitely love David Fincher movies, and I sort of wanted to include one on this list, and I think Fight Club probably has the best of the final lines. And that, of course, is as Edward Norton has finally got rid of his personality, his alternate personality, by shooting himself in the mouth. Marlo's standing there with him, and they're surveying all the destruction that Project Mayhem was called. The buildings, the office buildings where the credit card companies are located, are collapsing to the ground. He turns to her and says, "You met me at a very strange time in my life." Nice. Here's a really funny one. I'm not a huge fan of comedies for the most part, and when I saw Men in Black, I wasn't like super crazy about it, but I just had to. The joke of Men in Black is there's a lot of aliens living amongst us disguised as normal human beings, and they cite a bunch of famous people like Sylvester Stallone and George Lucas, people who are actually aliens, and of course, sometimes the disguises are not as good as they could be. They don't look like normal people. So at the end of the movie, when Linda Fiorentino has become Will Smith's partner, she says, "Oh, there's a problem with so and so, some species involving our planet and everything like that. We need to go take care of it. We need to sort of negotiate a settlement of some kind." And Will Smith says, "Okay, we'll talk to Dennis Rodman. He's from their planet." And she goes, "Rodman? Not much of a disguise." I just like that one. The Coen brothers. The Coen brothers are great writers, and in Fargo, they have probably my favorite last line in one of their films. My favorite film of theirs is Miller's Crossing, but it doesn't have the best last line. The best last line, of course, is after Marge, played by Frances McDormand, goes home after she's put away the criminals, goes home to her husband. They tuck themselves in the bed, and of course she's pregnant. And, oddly enough, she doesn't give birth before the movie is over. That's something that usually happens when women are pregnant in the movie. They settle into bed, and they're about to go to sleep, and they say, 2 more months until the baby comes. It's nice. I like that a lot. I went to California recently. My brother, who lives out there, invited me out there to go and see a whole bunch of locations where movies were shot. I've only been out there to Los Angeles once before, but he said, let's go find some places where movies have been shot in LA and, take some pictures. What do you say? I'm like, that sounds like a lot of fun. And of course, one of the places that we had to go was the building that served as Nakatomi Plaza in the original Die Hard movie. And at the end of Die Hard, of course, when Bruce Willis finally reunites with his wife and all the bad guys are taken care of, and Argyle, the limo driver, packs them in to the car and prepares to drive them away, he says, if this is their idea of Christmas, I gotta be here for New Year's. Love that one. The Princess Bride. Of course, Wesley makes a thing out of saying, as you wish, to Buttercup, because he loves her, and that's his way of saying, I love you, is when she tells him to do something, he says, as you wish. And of course, this whole story is being read to young Fred Savage by his grandfather, Peter Falk. And at the end of the movie, as they finish the story, Peter Falk's about to say goodbye and go home. And Fred Savage says, Grandpa, you think maybe you could come back tomorrow and read it again? And Grandpa says, as you wish. Perfect. Great script. Great script. And finally, number 1. Sorry I haven't been doing the numbers. If I had written the numbers on these little cue cards right here, I was going to show them to camera basically right there, and I forgot to do that. Sorry. Anyway, my number 1 favorite closing line from a movie is from John Carpenter's The Thing. And this is all about the paranoia of not knowing which of the guys are the creatures and which are regular humans. And after they have destroyed most of the cast and most of the setting in this Antarctic wasteland, and are in danger of now freezing to death because they have no way to keep themselves warm anymore. Kurt Russell, the character Kurt Russell, is sitting across from David Keith, and he's not sure whether or not this guy's been taken over by the creature, whether or not he's a perfect imitation of the guy that he used to know. And David Keith says, so what do we do now? And Kurt Russell goes, maybe we'll just sit here a while, see what happens. End of the movie. I really like movies that end on an unanswered question. I used to hate them, especially when I was a kid. The Color of Money, for example. The Color of Money ends with the start of a game of pool between Tom Cruise and Paul Newman. But you never find out who wins that game. And I was really frustrated by that. But now I think it's fun to end a movie on an unanswered question. And that is my favorite. I love that movie very much. Thank you for watching. That is my top 10 favorite final lines from movies. And since I have some time to myself here, I'm going to make a couple of videos and post them subsequently. And one of those videos is going to be on movies that I'm looking forward to seeing over the next 3 months, June, July, and August, the summer movie season. I have a few. So, catch you later. Bye.